What's up, y'all? AJ Simmons checking in, and today I want to talk about new money mistakes. All right, because as entrepreneurs, eventually we become successful as long as we don't quit, right? And when you become successful and you don't come from a background of money, you don't come from a long line of entrepreneurs, of successful people, etc. Right? When I say successful, I'm talking in terms of financial success that's basically above middle class, right? And so when you're an entrepreneur and you start to get new money, basically, it's very easy to become susceptible to making a lot of mistakes, y'all. And so I kind of want to just talk about some of the new money mistakes that I made so you can avoid them, all right? And also some of these mistakes are mistakes that I've seen other people make as well. And so I'm just going to speak from my experience and hopefully you get some value from it, all right? So first off, the biggest thing and everything I'm probably going to name following this is the fact that we got a chip on our shoulder and we just want to prove to everybody that they were wrong about us, right? We typically were the black sheeps of our family. We typically were the outcasts, the underachievers. People called us lazy. People thought our idea was crazy. Some people called us stupid for quitting our day jobs. You know, the list goes on, right? And so we all have these chips on our shoulders where we just want to show people, hey, I made it. Hey, I arrived. Hey, I told you I was that person, right? And so you just got this chip on your shoulder and you really want to prove it. So because of that, we start doing ridiculous things. And one of those ridiculous things is, as a new money person, you try to pay for everything. All right? We try to pay for every single body, for every single thing. You go out to eat, you take the bill like, oh, it's on me. And this is stuff that you never would have did before, but all of a sudden, because you got this new money, now all of a sudden you want to jump in, you want to put your superhero cape in, and you think you're just going to slide in and pay for every single person. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still guilty of this one to this day because one of my biggest pet peeves is I do not like waiting. I don't like confusion. And I just don't like, seeing people look like they're struggling. And the truth of the matter is, I know for me, most people that are around me, I can't say most people, but a lot of times, people that are from where I'm from, and a lot of times when I'm around certain people, I just know people don't have it. You know what I mean? And I just know that people spend above their means. And so for a person like me, when I'm like, you know what? Well, I always did want to make it just so I can help everybody else. And I really hate to sit at a table after we eat at a restaurant. People are splitting the check and trying to fight over who had what, and going back and forth with the waitress and saying, well, wait a minute, did you mark this off? Well, do you got a coupon for this? I ain't got time for that. Just give me the check. I got everybody. You know what I mean? And so that one for me is kind of a convenience thing because I just can't stand to sit there with all that extra time. Like once I'm done, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? So that's a new money mistake though, because truth of the matter is before I got the money, I wouldn't have did that. I would have just sat there, paid for my stuff, my wife's stuff, you know what I mean? Whoever came with me, and that's it, and we good. You know what I mean? So that's a new money mistake that we tend to have. And something that goes right along with that, and this is probably the number one killer for a lot of us that come from nothing, is survivor's guilt, aka survivor's remorse. All right. And what that is basically, you made it out, and then you start feeling guilty about it. You start looking around and saying, hey, dang, why was I the one that was chosen to make it? Why did so and so not get to make it out? They didn't have a fair shake at life. Well, why? And you start feeling guilty. You start questioning, why you were able to get these things. And the truth of the matter is, why. You just probably forgot, because that can happen to you as well. When you put in all of these hours of work, all of this grind, all of these sacrifices that you put in to build your wealth up, and then you start to get there, you start to get some freedom, some abundance, and you forget about all of those sacrifices you made to get it. And then you start feeling bad for other people when you go around them. And I know for me in particular, y'all know I moved to Florida, right? And then when I go back home to Virginia, it was certain people that I was seeing. I'm like, wait a minute. They like my kids, and because kids, their perception is some completely different, right? Their life experiences weren't mine. And so it's like, we go to certain people's houses, and the difference between where other people lived and where we lived was drastic. We go from this gated community, different types of people, things just look different. The whole neighborhood is different. And then when we come, back in town and we would go to certain, people's houses, it was drastically different. And so then I would start to feel guilty a bit because now I was like, damn, I can't even say a certain thing because if I say a certain thing, it's going to sound like I'm bragging when I was just talking. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't say certain things anymore. It's like, even if you got, simple stuff. We got multiple cars. It's like, okay, dang, well, I drove the other car. Next thing you know, you're around somebody who doesn't have the privilege to have multiple cars. They'll think you're trying to be excuse me, Mr. Two Cars. You know what I mean? Or we might say something about how, oh, well, they might say, well, you don't have to work tomorrow. It's like, well, technically, yes, I can work. I have to work tomorrow, but I make my own schedule where I don't have to be at a job or at a particular place. I can work from anywhere. And the people think that that's bragging, but really, no, I was just saying the fact. You know what I mean? So then I start to feel guilty, and it's like, well, I got to walk on eggshells on what I can and can't say. You know what I mean? I start to feel bad and just, you know what? Here, take this money because, yeah, life ain't fair. This ain't right. When the truth of the matter is, there were times when I've seen certain people make certain decisions, and I would tell them to make a different decision that was similar to the ones that I was making, and they chose to go the way that they chose to go, and then look there, they got out of life what they got. You know what I mean? And so that contributed to my survivor's remorse. All right. And so what we got to do is we got to be bigger than the survivor's remorse, y'all. Do not forget all of the sacrifices that you made. You know what I mean? And the truth of the matter is this too. I heard somebody else say this, but God gave you that vision for a reason. If God wanted, sometimes God doesn't want certain people to have certain things. If God wanted these people to have those things, then he would have gave it to them. You know what I mean? Everybody have their own path in life. And sometimes when you try to overstep and overdo too many things for other people, you start messing up your own stuff because now you interfering with what God wanted to happen in the first place, right? So something to think about there, all right? Do not have survivor's remorse. You get out what you put into life, period, to anything. And so if you're starting to get abundance, if you're starting to get rewarded for the things that you work for and sacrifice, guess what? You earned that. So don't feel so bad about it. You know what I mean? If I see people on the street and I have it to give, I'll give it to them. Sometimes I might not give it to them. It just depends. You know what I mean? But it's like, but don't feel guilty about doing so. All right? We live in a free market economy. Is it fair? No. It ain't fair for everybody, but guess what? What it is an opportunity for everybody to get it somehow, some type of way, especially with the internet existing. We can all research and figure out how to do anything. And then as you figure out how to do it, all you have to do is go take the action to go do it. All right? If you want to make a certain type of money, all you got to do is research how to get that type of money. And you just take the first step forward, then the next step, and then the next step. It might start with getting a job up the street. Then once you get that job up the street, you might figure, okay, well, how can I stand up at this job to move up to a management level? Okay, damn, now I got this management level. What can I do on the side of this job that could bring me some extra income on the side of this job? Okay, I like this little side thing I got going on. How can I turn it into a real business? Okay, now that I got it to a real business, how can I maximize the amount of money that I make from this real business? Ooh, I heard about real estate. How can I invest in real estate? You know what? I heard about this stock thing. How can I invest in stocks? You know what? What is passive income? Let me say, you know what I mean? So it's like all these different decisions that you make personally to help yourself get to another level of abundance that you take. Guess what? You're earning it. And everybody in the United States of America and anywhere else that's a capitalistic society, free market society, guess what? We all have the ability to do that. Okay? So don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad. Yes, you can, obviously we all have a heart. We all want to give and you can do so, but don't do it out of guilt. You know what I mean? Do it out of love, because you want to do something and you know how much you can spare and you're doing it responsibly. All right? Don't spend above your means trying to help other people who didn't even help themselves. All right? Another thing that we do as well as new money people is we get into business debt. And I'm telling you now, business debt, first off, let me start here. All debt is bad debt for the most part. Okay? Listen to Dave Ramsey on that. All debt is bad debt most of the time. The only time debt is considered good debt is when it's debt that makes you money. Okay? So if you have debt on rental property and you have a tenant in the property that's actually paying the rent on time and the rent is more than what the monthly mortgage is, and guess what? That mortgage is good debt because you have another tenant paying it all for you. That property is increasing in value. Your cash flowing. And you're getting the appreciation and all of that, right? The depreciation on the property, all of that. So, the appreciation on the value, that you get to write off the depreciation on taxes. But anyway, Um, but that's the only time debt is good debt is when it's helping you to make money. So if it's buying you an asset to help you bring in more money, then that's considered good debt. But any other debt is bad debt. So a lot of times with us new money people and entrepreneurship in particular, we get new money and then we say, you know what? They offer me a business loan. I'm about to take it. You should never take on a new loan with if you don't have an absolute plan on how you're going to execute with that money when you get it. All right, because guess what? It has to be paid back. Okay, so don't just take debt on just to take debt on for the sake of taking debt on, right? Another thing too, when we get credit cards, a lot of us we start qualifying for these higher limit credit cards, and it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna use it for things. You start increasing your lifestyle, and now you're living off the credit cards. In reality, you're living above your means, and you can't afford it. And so most people don't even know how to use credit cards. I'm going to tell you right now. You shouldn't swipe credit cards. The only time you should is when you're doing it like this. You basically use your credit cards to pay in the place of your debit card. Okay? So let's just say if you know that you're going to spend 40 grand a month in your company or in your personal expenses, this goes for both ways. But let's just say you're going to spend 40 grand a month on every month, and you pay your bills out your business debit card or your personal debit card. Well, guess what? You use the credit card to just pay the 40 grand every month. So put out everything that you would have paid every month on that debit card. Just swipe the credit card. One is more security because anytime if there's any type of fraud, anything, it's easier to get your money back from a credit card versus a bank card. All right. But also because you'll build credit that way, right? You can build good credit history because guess what? The exact money that you would have paid with a debit card, you just swipe the credit card and then pay that money. It's right back. You never use a credit card to pay surprise expenses, right? You don't use a credit card to go get something because you ain't got the money today in cash, but you're gonna use a credit card and then pay it back later over time. That's not how you use a credit card, because then also when you do that, you start paying interest. See, when you do it the way I'm telling you to do it, just pay all of your monthly expenses on that credit card and then pay the money right back. This is the exact same money that you would have spent anyway. So the money that you got on your budget, which by the way, we all need to have a budget, new money. Let's have a budget. You need to know what you spend every month and then know what's coming in every month. And it should be all written down on a budget beforehand. All right. And so all of the money that you know you're going to spend every single month, you should have a credit card that's going to pay that every month. You build up points on that credit card, by the way. So now you start getting free flights, free hotels, and other things as well, depending on what type of credit card that you got and what the points are. Right. But you might even have a cashback card. Some people like cashback. I prefer points myself. All right. But that's the only time you should use a credit card. And that's the only time you should use business debt. So if you get business loans, you need to already have a predetermined way how that business loan is going to help you increase your money. If you don't have a way where that money can increase you to more money, then don't take the loan. Just because you qualify don't mean that you need it. All right. And when you know the way that's going to make you more money, guess what? That money should make more than what the payment is going to be on that loan. Okay. So if you get a new business loan for 100 grand and it's going to cost you, let's just say, 10 grand every single month, well, that investment that you're going to invest that 100 grand into, it better make you more than 10 grand every month. All right. If it can't do that, if you can't figure out a way to invest that money to make it make more than what it's going to cost you every month, you shouldn't be taking it. Just continue to grow organically. Take it slow until you got a way to invest that money. And again, when it comes to those credit cards, only swipe it for recurring bills that you know you're going to actually have to pay on debit anyway. And then just pay that money right back as soon as you swipe it on the credit card. If you're going to go out to eat and you were going to swipe a debit card, just swipe the credit card, pay the money right back to the credit card. But never spend what you don't already have on credit. All right. Credit is for people who don't need it. It's crazy, but that's just is what it is. Credit, loans, debt is simply for people who don't need it in the first place. It's not for emergency purposes. All right. And we were taught that, but it's wrong. All right. Another thing that we do wrong as well when it comes to new money is we diversify too soon. We start making a little bit of money. And it's something about that mid 6-figure level. You get about $500,000 a year, you start feeling like you made it, right? At least where you come from, nothing. I don't know about people that come from middle class, but people that come from the bottom, it's something about that $500,000 a year level somewhere around there where we just start chilling too hard. We start thinking we made it. And then we start thinking we know a lot as well, which we do know a lot because we made it to that point. But we still don't know everything. But we start thinking that, okay, well, I built this business to this point. I can go build another business as well and increase the money. It's like, no. What you should do is double down on the business that got you this far and scale it completely to millions, okay? Not just 500,000. And if you're in an industry that can't scale to millions, well, first of all, you need to even research it, okay? So do market research and do market analysis and see, okay, bam, how big can this company actually grow? Is it capped out at 500,000? If so, now let me go ahead and sell this business and then go invest into a new industry. But don't try to go diversify and get into, another whole industry that you're going to have to learn that you're not even sure if it's going to work or not, thinking that, well, all businesses are the same, because it's not. Business in theory and in general is overall is the same concept, right? But I'm talking about the intricate details that you have to learn for a whole new industry. They definitely vary, and sometimes those variances can make or break you, right? Because certain things you would have tolerated in one industry, you might not tolerate in another industry. All right, so something to think about. Don't diversify too soon, all right? And then another thing too is not knowing your numbers. We get to overspending. You thinking you got it. We just go sell some more. If anybody know me, that they know, I just sell some more. I'll just sell some more. And it's like, you don't want to live like that. All right. You want to know, okay, what is my worst month? What would my worst month be for the, and always blame, and again, now this part right here is going to take for you to be in business for a while before you can start doing this. But start thinking long term. Don't base your, when you first start, excuse me, when you first start, you want to, you think like a poor person, right? Because I'm gonna tell you the main difference between poor people and people who are wealthy is simply the time frame in which they think about money. Notice the more money you started making, the longer term you started telling people how much you make. So for example, when you first get into the job market, you say how much you make per hour, right? Then you move up to a salary position, you start saying, oh, well, I make this much a year. Then when you get into business, you know what I mean? You start forecasting per quarter and all of that type of stuff, right? And so a lot of times what we'll do is we'll say, well, I make X amount a month, right? I make this amount a month, when in reality, you should be looking at, okay, well, what do we make per year? And that's why you notice when I do my interviews, my bigger companies that come on, we say how much they make a year. We don't say how much they make a month, because when you get to those bigger levels, nobody's looking at month to month. We're looking at year to year. We know it's going to be some bad months and good months, but we're really looking at, okay, well, what was the year like? And so to get back to my point that I was about to get at is this. When you do build your monthly budget, because you have to do the budget off of monthly, right? To live month to month and all of that, know how much you got to operate and allocate. Well, you should base it off of your lowest month, okay? Don't base it off the highest month. You have a great month and say, oh, I make this month now, knowing that damn well it's really, let's just, don't say, oh, I did a $50,000 a month now, I make 50 grand a month, when in reality, almost every other month this year you did 10 grand. Don't say you make 50 then, all right? You just had one good month. Don't start bumping up things, right? Or maybe you hit 3 months straight, you did 50. But all the other months prior to that, you did 10 grand. Guess what? You need to look at your books and see, okay, well, what caused that jump? Because it could have just been, oh, you did stripping waxes and you ran a special for those 3 months. It could have just been, oh, it was snow season where you live and y'all had a big jump because of snow season and y'all was out there plowing snow or whatever the case may be, but that's about the end. But now, if you base your expenses off of short-term thinking, oh, look, we did that 3 months straight, this is the new normal, when it's not. And then after that season passes, now you got new expenses coming in. You done finance a new vehicle through the business, all type of stuff. And now you got to start moving out of desperation because you didn't think and plan. You weren't moving strategically. You didn't know your numbers, and then you started overspending. All right? So make sure you know your numbers. And with that said, hey, listen, hire professionals. Get you a CFO. All right? Get you a chief financial officer. They're out there. Look for them. Look for a fractional CFO if you need to. And if you would want me to refer you one, let me know. Comment below. I'll send you my CFO's contact information. All right. But get your stuff in order. Get a CFO. Have an attorney available. All right. Have an attorney available. And it ain't even got to be on retainer. Just somebody that you can seek counsel to, like I have. Again, if you need somebody for that, I can hit you up with my guy. I can hook you up. All right. But have people like that, these professionals on deck. All right, the people that know more stuff than we do. We as entrepreneurs, we generalists by nature. We know a little bit about everything, right? But you want to have these people around you that know that are specialists, that know more than you about particular topics. All right. So that's just some game I want to give y'all, man, for my new money people. Because when you get in business and you start making more, and we become all of a sudden we the new leaders. And since we want to prove to everybody that we made it, we gonna make it, and this and that, guess what? We can't wait to go brag and run our mouth and show the fact that we made it. But then, well, guess what? What happens when you do that? Well, now you become the guy or the girl or I mean, whoever, the person that everybody looks to when it comes to money. And you, with a chip on your shoulder, you don't want to tell them you don't got it. That's what we don't want to do, which, by the way, if you can get good at that, that'll be even better, right? But you don't want to tell them you don't got it, so therefore now you got to have it all the time. And now you put that target on your back to always be the person that people come to. And so what I'm saying is don't make these new money mistakes, because you do that, and guess what? No matter how much you make, it's always going to seem like you just ain't get enough, because now you put yourself in a position to lose it all. All right? So stay on top of your finances. Think long term. Do not think short term. Don't try to move too fast. Stay the hell off of Instagram, right? Don't look at these people, y'all. Social media in particular, in general. Not just Instagram, but really social media in general. You know what I mean? LinkedIn probably just as bad too. You look at these people and they about to be billionaires tomorrow. The way they move, like they're moving so fast and doing so many moves and doing this and that. And then you start comparing yourself. You start making irrational decisions based off of what somebody else is doing, when you really should just focus on what you're doing. All right. So hopefully this video helped y'all a lot. I'll give you more like this. Hopefully y'all don't mind the audio only version of this. I'm AJ Simmons. I'm founder of the Clean Biz Network. And by the way, for those who ain't made it yet and you want to get some new money, all right, you're trying to figure out how to become new money. Hey, get there. Let's get to it. Get the money first, and then once you start getting some money, we figure out how to keep it, all right? But if you need to get some money and you figuring out, damn, I want to start a business, but you don't know which one to start, I highly recommend starting a cleaning business. Why? Because that's what I did to get myself off the ground. It's very low to get started with, low investment, extremely high upside. When I tell you there's $100 million companies out there in the cleaning industry, y'all. Ain't too many other industries that can say that can build from the ground up, no outside investors, none of that. And the cleaning industry can do that for you. Some of the biggest companies in the country, in the world even, are in the cleaning industry, y'all. This is one of the best industries to be in. I told y'all before, the two best industries. Number one is software as a service, and y'all know I'm in that. And I don't teach that because it's too difficult. So instead, what I teach is Clean Biz Network. I say what I teach, Clean Biz Network. You can go to cleanbiznetwork.com to get it. But anyway, what I teach is the cleaning business, because everybody can do it. It's simple. You know what I mean? It's simple to do, and you can make as much money as you want to make. It's just up to you to actually put in the work to get to wherever you want to go to. All right? So if you want to get started, go to cleaningbusinessstarterkit.com to get started. If you already have started, but you want to scale and grow and get to another level, go to cleanbiznetwork.com, and you can check out the courses that we got there available to help you scale. We got leads that you can buy to help you scale. We got all type of stuff. One-on-one coaching program is available now. So check us out, y'all. I'm AJ Simmons. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'm out of here. Thank y'all.